Hey there, it's another video on tables, and in this video I'm going to cover how to format it, the looks, the shading, the colors, etc. So I'll just recap how to create a table, and one of the ways is insert table, and when you choose, I'm just mousing over these, it will choose whatever size you tell it to choose. So I'm just going to pick a 2x2 for now, and you'll see that it inserts it and puts it all the way across from left to right, full size of the page. I'm just going to type some colors in here, red, and then I'm going to say truck, and a blue, and I'm going to say box, and I'm just making this up, and a yellow brick. And what I'm doing is using tab, and shift tab moves you backwards if you didn't know that. So shift tab, give it a try. Tab, 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 tab. If you tab from the very last cell, it creates a whole new row. A pink tutu. I don't know how to spell tutu. We'll go with that. So it is all the way across, which isn't always the most attractive look. So if you choose from table tools, and if you don't see table tools, you have to click in the table, choose layout. From cell size, you're going to choose auto fit and auto fit contents, and there you go. So if you change your text in here to be a little larger, the table also stretches with it. Remember, if a table is alone on a paper, it should be centered. So I'm choosing table properties. I know you can't see it, but I did. And center. And it centered my table on my page. And you may want to center it just because it looks better in the document you're creating. So moving on to what I want to cover today. If you click in your table, you can choose the design tab, and of course this is where you change the design, and there's lots of things here. If you're in a huge hurry, you could pick one of these, but they tend to require a header row. You'll notice how both of these are bold. It's expecting the top row to contain column headings, which we haven't done here. So to do them manually, first of all, it's nice to know how to select a single cell. If you watch my mouse, I'm going to put my pointer here, and when it becomes an arrow pointing to 2 o'clock and I click, it chooses that entire cell. Why is that important? Well, whatever I do is only going to affect that cell. So I chose shading, and I chose red. There's other reasons. For example, I'm going to do it to the yellow cell, so it's totally obvious. I can actually grab this, I pressed escape to get rid of that, and I can stretch it, and if I choose that one cell, oh, it's supposed to just do that one cell. It didn't work. I have to check into that. Okay, back to that later. So yellow, again, shading here. And you can also, from here, right click, and you can't see it, but it's table properties. And in here, from table, we see borders and shading. And when you first click that, it brings you to this page here, so be careful because this is borders. I'm dealing with shading right now, and I think I was on yellow. So there we go with yellow. And you could choose patterns and play around with it some here and apply. You have to watch this. I'm applying it to the cell. So shading, fill with this pattern to the cell. Click OK, and it wasn't yellow, it was blue. So let's go back and do it again. So right click, table properties, borders and shading. I'm going to change this to a blue. Pick this blue, and I'll change the style down here to a dark grid. Click OK. And there it is. Now you notice you can hardly see the text. So in a table, you can select your text, and just like before, click your Home tab and go and change your text color so you can actually see it. So once again, select your text from the Home tab, go to your text color, like this. Another thing you can change are your borders. Borders are a big thing in tables. So I'm going to click in my table, and again with design, and you have all these different styles. I personally prefer this borders button, or same thing I just did, right click, table properties, borders and shading. Brings you to the same place, this box here. So I'll show you. If I click this borders button, I could go down to borders and shading, same box. So I'm going to pick something that you'll really notice, like this, and I'm going to give it a color like purple. And I'm going to say apply to the whole table. Before I click OK, take a look. This is a sample. It's going to apply it on the outside and on the inside. If I only want it on the outside, I have some choices. I could have just chosen box. If I want it on the outside and the up and down lines, you'll see when I choose box, this one here is now deselected, and so is this grid. Choose that one, it puts it back. So let's see what that does. Click OK. And now my table looks like that. No borders on the inside at all. If I were to choose my table and choose borders and shading and say none for the entire table, I would simply see text like that. Borders get important when you have, I'm just going to undo that, when you have column headings. So you're getting to it quickly, but I'll cover it here. You can right click and insert a row above, and it copies the formatting and puts it up here. So I'm going to type in here color object. These are my column headings, so I need to format them differently. I'm going to select my entire row by clicking over here to the left. Just click and it does the whole row. And the first thing I'm going to do is change my shading to a different color. I'm going to bold my text. The hotkey is Control B. Control B. And I'm going to change my borders. Now I want to show you something. I can also choose borders here. I'm just slowly mousing down. And you can add specific borders that way. For example, if I were to select my entire first column, I go to borders and it's not really what I wanted. Control Z. Select the first column, design, borders. If you mouse down, whatever border I recently had drawn, and it was that big thick, see, it's these ones here. So I could change this. I'll say dotted. Now if I go to the right, it puts, oh, I need to change more. I'll pick orange. So there we go. And it should have, there we go. It added the orange dotted line. It looked like it was going to add the purple, but it didn't, because this is what I had selected. So you can fiddle around with borders and be very, very specific about them, and your colors and your text colors, and you can make your table look as colorful as you would like it to look.